used to think of Greenland as something irrelevant and funny. Biggest island in the world, loads of ice and snow, polar bears, husky dogs, and a couple of thousand citizens. Oh, and a US Air Force base. So why does Trump want to annex, buy, or subjugate the Big Island? Let's break it down. First of all, it's very important from a military point of view. Look at the map.
Greenland sits between North America, Europe, and the Arctic Ocean. This location controls air routes, sea routes, and missile paths. The United States already operates Pituffik Space Base here. It tracks missiles, it watches space, it gives early warning. As Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes open. Trade gets faster.
Since the Cold War, it was a crucial part of America's front line, or an Arctic gate to North America. If something moves through the Arctic seas or skies, missiles, bombers, submarines, or now even hypersonic missiles, Greenland is one of the first places where it can be detected.
A piece of ice, cold and poorly located, that can play a vital role in world peace and world protection.
That geography alone explains decades of American interest, but there's more than that. It all began not even during the Cold War, not even during World War II or World War I. When the US government bought Alaska from the Russian Empire the same year, 1867, Secretary of State William Henry Seward wanted to buy Greenland and Iceland. America was ready to pay $5.5 million for Alaska. They paid $7.2 million. Fish, oil, game, you name it. The Northern Islands look delicious. Also, Washington, D.C. thought that Greenland becoming America would somehow convince Canada to join the U.S. But Seward's plan failed due to internal political reasons. However, the idea wasn't forgotten. Greenland was Denmark's land for centuries. Hell, the Vikings discovered it in 982, and in the 1600s, Greenland became Denmark's colony. We usually forget that Denmark has had overseas property. In 1917, the United States bought the Danish West Indies, today known as the U.S. Virgin Islands, for $25 million in gold. The reason was security. Washington feared that Kaiser Germany could seize the islands and threaten Atlantic shipping during World War I. Now, let's get back to the timeline. During World War II, the US stayed neutral until the Pearl Harbor attack, December 1941, and Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany in 1940, but Greenland remained free, at least from German occupation. Both Axis and Allied commanders understood the strategic importance of the island, and America stepped in as Greenland's security guarantor. Washington did not annex the island. Instead, it protected it, built facilities, and denied German military access. This included efforts to counter German secret weather stations in the Arctic. Weather data in the North Atlantic was crucial for naval warfare, and that information could decide battles. At the same time, the US deployed troops to Iceland, another neutral country, to secure the North Atlantic trade routes. While protecting Greenland from the Nazis, the US received the rights to build a military air base in the northwestern part of the island.
We fought for Denmark. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark.
Though Air Base, now called Pituffik Space Base, it remains one of the most important U.S. military installations outside American territory. The base hosts powerful early warning radar systems. Their job is to detect missile launches as early as possible and give U.S. decision makers time to react. For most of the 20th century, the Arctic was relatively quiet. Ice kept most of it inaccessible, extremely expensive, and very risky. But the exploration and military maneuvers and atomic tests were executed nonetheless.
But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold. And then after the war, which we won, after the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that?
But times are changing. Melting ice is opening new shipping routes. Military activity in the region is increasing again after the Cold War. Major world powers are paying attention to the Arctic. Russia has peacefully expanded its Arctic defense infrastructure. China is investing in polar icebreaker vessels and calling itself a near-Arctic state. For the United States, Greenland is a natural counterbalance. It anchors American presence beyond the polar circle. When Donald Trump talked about acquiring Greenland, the idea was widely ridiculed by American public. But strip away the personality and the headlines, and the logic becomes familiar.
I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark, tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States.
Trump's foreign policy leaned heavily on a renewed interpretation of the Monroe Doctrine, the idea that the United States must secure key regions in its hemisphere and prevent rival powers from gaining influence there. From that perspective, Greenland isn't strange at all. Greenland is also rich in natural resources. It holds deposits of rare earth elements as well as uranium, zinc, and iron ore. These materials are crucial for modern technologies, from electronics and renewable energy to defense systems. That doesn't mean Greenland will suddenly turn into a mining superpower. Developing resources in the Arctic is expensive, slow, and politically sensitive. This is where American economic interests and big tech quietly come into play. Modern technology runs on materials most people never think about. Rare earth elements, critical minerals, specialty metals. They are essential for data centers, satellites, electric vehicles, AI hardware, and advanced military systems. For American tech giants like OpenAI, Palantir, Google, xAI, this is not an abstract problem, it's a business risk. What if the EU would want all the resources for their big tech? It's about free access to resources and long-term options, and about not being dependent on Danish or European Union political decisions. Modern power rarely looks like old-school annexation. Okay, anyway, time will tell. Who knows? Maybe we'll see the US Marine Corps grunts riding throughout the snow during the invasion. Or maybe we'll see some TV news broadcast breaking a business deal. Greenland sits at the intersection of military security, Arctic competition, resource politics, and technological supply chains. And when Europe cries about US political hypocrisy in this case with Greenland, they are wrong, because it's a political realism. Okay, it's not very nice, but it gets the job done.
But how ungrateful are they now?